I just want to talk about NextGen a little bit. Part of my, position here as director of development is working with NextGen.
Mhm.
But as a fundraiser, you always are thinking, okay, how do you meet new people? How do you bring on board the next generation? And NextGen is all about that. And what I love is meeting everyone who I've met, people like Monica, who are leaders in their industry, and they're current leaders. They're going to be even bigger leaders. And so we're going to play a little video right now.
I've had some of my own personal struggles that MPTF has helped me with.
My dad had cancer and passed 2 years ago, but I was able to reach out to Naomi, one of our social workers who's awesome, and she sort of walked me through some options because we were trying to figure out how to do hospice at home and what were the resources available to my dad who was in Indiana.
My grandmother, who lives in West Virginia, took a fall. She only has one leg. She had cancer many years ago, and she couldn't, her doctor wouldn't give her a prescription to have home care to get her bandages changed.
It was like, wait a second, what about MPTF?
And she gave me some magic sentence to have my aunt tell my grandmother's doctor that all of a sudden it was like some code that got her prescription for home care.
It's other people's jobs who have an entire, lifetime of experience that can boil it down to the nuts and bolts for me. So I'm not wading through information on the internet. That was so helpful and such a godsend during a really, trying time.
I love that video because it really goes to show the importance of MPTF, but it goes to show how, you just didn't think about it. We have a whole campaign where we're starting to talk. We're lucky to have people like Monica. You started to tell your story, and we'll get into that in a minute. But you just don't think about emergencies like that. And that's why they're emergencies. But that's why places like MPTF exist. And we want people to know about us before you need us, because we've been here 100 years and we're going to be here decades and 100 years more. But it's important to know that you have that outlet. And when you're someone who's younger and you're not even thinking about a retirement home, this has nothing to do with that. It's about, well, what about your family? What about your parents? We all have people in our lives who may be aging, and that is something that faces everyone. It's like, hey, MPTF is here for you. And just one small aspect in that way. And there's a myriad of ways that we can get into, but I'm here specifically to talk about NextGen, which is, as I said, an advocacy group, part of MPTF. Thank you, Jen, for putting in a link about NextGen so you can learn about us. And if you want to become a member, it's $120 a year, very nominal price. And you get discounts to like MedMen, Color Camp, Harper Wilde, Brian Blatty Wine, and Sammy's Camera, those of you in the industry. So yeah, it's a really great group. We're gonna get back to doing real live in-person mixers. We've been doing virtual ones, which have been fun. And so, but yeah, we're gonna be looking to do live events again soon. So Monica, to that end, you touched it in the video. So why don't you expand on that a little bit more and what NextGen means to you?
Sure. I feel like NextGen, it means so much to me on a lot of different levels. One, having the information and just the access to MPTF during a time of personal need when it came to my father and trying to figure out hospice solutions for him. My younger sister was pretty much boots on the ground with my dad in Indiana, and he did not want to stay in the nursing home that he was in. He desperately wanted to come home. And my sister was, she's a mom, she's a wife had 2 young kids, and she was a full-time social worker. So it was a lot on her. So I was trying to alleviate some of that stress. And I remember talking to someone at MPTF, and they were like, why didn't you just call Naomi? And I was like, oh my gosh. And I serve on the NextGen board. And it was one of those things, because you're so inundated when you're dealing with a family health crisis like that, in terms of insurance and caregiving, that I hadn't thought of that. And as soon as I was able to talk to Naomi and she laid out a couple of options, within 48 hours, we were able to move my dad back home get him, the care that he needed, and, give him just like the caregiving options that were great for him, but also a huge relief to us. So, and personally, right now, within the next few years, I know I'm going to be leaning on MPTF again because my mother has the beginning signs of dementia. And so I know, I'll be reaching out back to Naomi again for some resources. It's not progressed to the level where um, she needs to be in a home or anything, but just in terms of some creative, solutions, activities that she can do that will help her memory, resources here in the LA area. So it's the safety net. MPTF is kind of the safety net that you don't know that you need. If you're like a stunt person, just to make the analogy clear, it's that safety net that's there to catch you when you don't realize that you're going to need these resources, this help, these answers. And being on the NextGen board, being able to volunteer in a very purposeful and meaningful way and give back to the industry that has given me a career is so, I don't know, I just feel honored to serve in that way.
No, we appreciate that. When did you hear about NextGen? How long ago?
Yeah, it feels like maybe it's 5 to 7 years ago. Yvette Nicole Brown, my good friend, recruited.
Okay.
He was like, you need to hear about NextGen. And it was right when the NextGen board had sort of been in existence for, I think, a year or two, and they were looking to expand and sort of redefine the participation of the NextGen board. And so I think when I came on, I immediately took a tour of the campus in Woodland Hills, which was amazing. And I just had this kind of aha moment because being around everyone on that campus who had sort of paved the way. You have editors and entertainment lawyers and actors and actresses and, production executives, these sort of giants in the industry who paved the way so people like myself could have a career. It was very humbling, and it was an honor to be on campus. And it was sort of like that aha moment for me. It was like, oh, I was looking for a way to volunteer, but I needed it to be specific and purposeful. And so it was like, oh, now I know how I can give back. It's being a part of NextGen.
Right. And that's what I love is like, as a fundraiser, when you get someone on campus, that's all you have to do is like show them the campus, and it's beautiful and it overwhelms people. And it's like, wow, we realize, of course, there's a nursing home. Of course, we do that kind of care, but there's so much more that we do. And you just thinking of like how, oh wait, I can help my family. And then in turn, you clearly helped yourself first in a way of like, you put the oxygen mask on yourself first so you can take care of you, and then, you take care of your family. And that's what I love about MPTF. And that's, I started in April of 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. So I haven't really gotten to meet the donors like I wanted to. We're starting to open up the campus, so it's great to. I actually met a few the past couple of weeks, so that's great. But that's what we want to do more: get people to our campus, show them what we're doing, and show them the rebuilding that we're going to be doing, which NextGen will be a huge part of because it's the next generation.
Definitely.
So tell me though more about being involved with NextGen. What have you been enjoying doing in terms of your volunteer work?
Sure. So I remember when I first joined, there was an event sponsored by Home Safe Home, which is a part of MPTF, and we volunteered to basically come into an older actress's home and make it more accessible for her. So
Wow.
things that we take for granted, just the racks in her closet, they were too high, and she's an older actress, and if she has to grab something to go on an audition, it put her in a position where she couldn't reach things. It was very uncomfortable. So little things like literally moving all of the racks down, and so which meant taking everything out of her closet, lowering the racks, getting the drills and whatnot, and then putting them all back. I think we also repaved the walkway up to her front entrance, because you know how the roots and the tree roots can make it dangerous and people can trip. They can make the pavement uneasy. I believe we did that as well. We also went into her kitchen, and everything that was in the on the shelves that were out of reach for her, we brought them down so that she could reach them. So it was such a great day, because I think we were there for the good part of the morning and afternoon, and some of us were sitting on the floor organizing things for her. It was almost like she had pressed the bat signal, and MPTF and the NextGen board were able to meet the call. And it was so exciting to give back in such a meaningful way, and to see her home transformed by the end of the day was amazing. So that's one of the things that I has always left a really strong impression on me. And then we do other things like, you know, fundraisers. We had one of the fundraisers I helped organize was the 25th anniversary screening of Thelma and Louise. And I had the pleasure and privilege of working with Callie Curry, who won an Oscar for writing that feature film. And she came
Wow.
campus. Yeah, it was a summer screening. She came to campus. They did a brief Q&A with her before about how she got the idea, the process of writing the script, and then winning the Oscar. And then we screened it on campus outside under the stars. So that was also really fun. It was a fun way, you know, and it's a multi-generational event. People from NextGen brought their friends and family, and we had picnic blankets on the lawn, and people who were on campus came out to watch it. So that was a lot of fun. And I love, you know, the networking mixer that we just had recently that was online, bringing people together in the middle of a pandemic. I feel like one of the things that we've lost is connection and the ability to just socialize. I feel like whenever we're on Zoom, it's usually for work or for something for my daughter for school. And so to be able to get on a Zoom and meet different people who work in the industry in different areas than I do, sort of to expand our circle, that was such a gift. So it's not just us, you know, volunteering, it's also us giving to ourselves and encouraging one another as we do this work together.
Jen, you're on mute.
They'll turn me on in just a second.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There's an incredible team, by the way. 5 teams right now are creating short films. They have a couple of challenges in terms of they're given 2 different virtual locations that they can be at. And Golden Globe winning and Academy Award winning actress Jodie Foster has pre-recorded lines for them to use as part of their short films today. So they're all hard at work doing that right now. But there's also a crew here on the set with me for Creative Chaos, and I want to take a moment to shout out to them. Jeff, Marcus, Jenny, thank you for coming in on a Sunday. Thanks for making this happen. Huge ups. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We played a trailer, a brand new trailer for MPTF's 100th, and the event that you were talking about from Home Safe Home, where you guys were transforming that actress's house, and you were correct. We dug up the whole front part of the yard to get the pathway cleaned and even. That is one of the clips that is in the 100th anniversary. Yeah, so I'm so glad that you're mentioning that specifically, and I loved that day. You made such a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What would you say to somebody who's new to the industry and doesn't understand why NextGen would be an important add to their network, to their connections for the industry?
I would say when you first move to the industry and you're trying to make connections and you're trying to make, you know, have meaningful relationships with people that work in the industry, NextGen, the heart of what we do is so pure, and it's about giving back. And so when you connect with a group like that, whose motivations are pure, and we're trying to give back to, you know, the community at large, the people who work in entertainment, you're going to make a meaningful connection with someone who has your best interest at heart. And so it's not like going to a networking mixer with, you know, just people who work in your same aspect of the industry where there's potentially a lot of competition or one-upsmanship. The heart of what we do is to serve. So you'll automatically be with like-minded people who are in the industry, who are awesome at what they do, who want to help. And I think that's really important to make, strong connections and meaningful relationships early on with people who are going to encourage and bolster you and help you sort of chart a path for yourself. So that's one of the things about NextGen. I feel like everyone is so awesome in sharing information and wanting to help each other out. It's like we're trying to like reach back and pull the next person up and bolster the people alongside of us as we climb the ladder in entertainment. It's not just about me, and my career and what I'm doing. It's like, how can I give back? And I think that's a really great foundation to lay for the rest of your career and your time in LA.
Well, that gets into, what I was going to say, what you should talk about what you do in the industry, because when you think about this, it's always like, are you an actor but you're such a great example of someone who works in the industry. So maybe, talk about a little bit what you do.
So I'm a showrunner in television. So I'm the head writer and the head producer, and I'm kind of the buck stops here person on a television show. So during the day with the writing staff, I just finished running season 5 of MacGyver. I lead the writer's room and we break the story and figure out what each episode is about. I assign who's going to write it, or I'll decide maybe I might co-write it with someone. And then after the script is done, we actually produce the episode. And so we produced television in the heart of the pandemic. We started pre-production in October of 2020 when it was crazy in Atlanta, which was a hotspot at the time, all masked up in PPE. And it was, once we were in that production bubble, we were testing every day. And we were able to, finish our season. I think we had 15 episodes total air. And I love what I do. A lot of people don't know what the title showrunner means. And it basically means you're the head writer and you're the lead producer,
Right.
and you're the main liaison between the show and the studio and the network. And it's a really fun job. I love what I do. And when I was in college, I didn't know that this job existed. I just knew that I wanted to write. And it was coming to LA and meeting other people and realizing, oh, this is how television works. So there's so many, interesting jobs in this industry. Like you just said, I think everyone thinks like actor or director, because that's how sort of like Hollywood, what we see, when a movie comes out is interviews with the actor and the directors. But there are so many people behind the scenes making it happen, from everyone who works in production, the director of photography, the grip, the script coordinator, the script supervisor on set. There are so many people that actually make it happen.
And that's what I love about, what you do, because you talk to all of them. So it's just an even better ambassador for MPTF, because you're really speaking to every aspect of that. And, Fred was on earlier, and we've been talking to people like John Wells, other showrunners, to like really do a nice, fun competition fundraising thing that I know we'll be tapping into you for sure.
Can't wait.
So I'm going to interrupt for just a moment.
Yeah.
I was saying 5 teams hurriedly trying to make it all happen. We've got one of our digital runners. That is a person who's on a team from home in the jungle. He's looking for some help and some talent. This is Benjamin. Benjamin also plays Mafia with us at least once a month, and often is
not for very long. I usually die quite quickly, or am accused quite quickly. So, yeah, we need an actor or two but we need one person who is going essentially to go. They're going to disappear and then come back having changed. And if they have some crazy mask or helmet, if they've got a cat or dog or animal, we could use them. But we need someone, and if they are interested in making themselves look like they've gotten beat up or bloody or but someone who could do that. We have our concept. We just want. And if we can make it work on our own, but if we've got someone that wants to do it, then even better.
You've got Dan. Let me, which team are you on, Benjamin?
I forgot the name of our team. We are Hershot.
Herschel, great. All right, I'm gonna send Dan over your way now. And this is what the Instant Film Festival is all about, my friends.
Hi, Monica.
Hi. I met Ben at our networking event. Yeah.
See, that's the perfect example of what this is all about. All right.
Well, I'll leave you guys. Thanks. Wait a minute. I don't know if I can even show this. There's a possibility you see this guy later. We don't know.
That's so cool.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you virtually.
All right, we have a couple of other things to talk about. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I meant what I said. I love the MPTF NextGen board. These are people that you want to connect with, you want to know, and you want in your support network.